Minister for Education and Culture Myron Walwyn has announced the coming on stream of a scheme that would require teachers to be licensed to teach and made agreements for local education officials to benefit from UK education institutions. The initiative is part of a new structure geared to having teachers maintain minimum standards of performance in order to continue in the profession. The announcement by the Education Minister came while making a ministerial statement in the House of Assembly on February 12th, while reporting on his recent visit to the UK, where he and other senior officials from the ministry met with Hertfordshire County Council education officials.
A system for monitoring the performance and the development of teachers would be at the heart of this initiative. We realize that our students can only perform as well as they're instructed, and therefore we must now hold our teachers to a higher standard. Madam Speaker, I do not foresee that such licensing will prevent teachers from teaching, but rather help us to assess their needs in order to help each teacher get up to one standard that will be applied throughout all our schools. Madam Speaker, to ensure the licensing of teachers and other changes are implemented and monitored successfully, with our Hertfordshire County counterparts, we have discussed and planned the creation of a system to inspect schools and monitor their standards and quality in both its physical infrastructure and educational offerings. We realize that we must reform the way the Department of Education functions to allow it to provide that added layer of accountability and standardization.
According to the Education Minister, the discussions were fruitful and agreements were made in several areas. He said they were able to enter into an understanding to twin the Sandringham School, ranked 5th out of over 12,000 schools in the UK, with the Elmore Stout High School to advise and share experiences on better management and governing of the school.
That school has over 1,300 students, yet its campus was smaller than that of Elmore Stout High. The campus was well organized and outfitted with practical means of utilizing the space and providing a superior learning environment for students. Madam Speaker, this raised a question in my mind as to whether, given the financial challenges of our time, a proper investment in restructuring the space and modernizing the campus of Elmore Stout might be a much more worthwhile effort. It is a question that I will continue to invite our community and certainly the members of this Honourable House to share their feedback with me and with my ministry.
Minister Walwyn also spoke of the importance to cater to the need for differently abled children. He said progress is being made in getting help from partners in Hertfordshire County. The Education Minister also pointed to steps to address the unique challenges affecting differently abled children in the territory.
I am particularly elated that we were able to discuss a short-term consultancy to review the current special needs arrangements and advise on how they could be developed. The consultancy will provide a comprehensive analysis of our needs in human resources, training, and facilities in order for us to properly monitor these students in our system. Madam Speaker, I met quite recently with the parents of children who are differently abled, and it is high time that we begin to properly address the needs of these children. We will need various expertise such as diagnosticians, occupational therapists, and the like within the ambit of the Ministry of Education and Culture to provide the much needed services to these students. I am calling on all members of the House of Assembly to join me in getting this issue fixed once and for all.
Minister Walwyn said his delegation also visited 2 primary schools in the UK, Applecroft and Fairlands Primary Schools, and organized to have BVI primary schools administrators to be twinned with those in the UK to gain from their knowledge and experiences. He said principals and assistant principals in local schools will benefit from a 1-month attachment to the UK institutions beginning in the Trinity term of this year. The importance of early preparation for the working world by senior secondary school students was highlighted at the opening of the Elmore Stout High School 2013 Career Expo held at the Multipurpose Sports Complex from Monday, February 11th to the 14th. Under the theme, Tapping into Tomorrow by Preparing Today. Sean Rose has this report.
For the first time, the annual Career Expo welcomed the participation of 4th and 5th form students from all other secondary institutions in the territory. Addressing the opening ceremony, acting principal of the Elmore Stout High School, Wade Tobin, urged the senior students to pay keen interest to career objectives.
All of us by now recognize that the high school graduate requires a greater degree of preparedness and awareness because of the ever-evolving dynamics and challenges of economies. They must possess business acumen or commercial awareness, be good team players, be critical thinkers, exhibit leadership skills, and a plethora of other skills needed for their future endeavors. It is for this and many other reasons that an annual Career Expo becomes important.
Activities on February 12 heard presentations from the financial sector. This was followed by presentations from public and private sector representatives on February 13 and ended with the annual college fair on February 14, featuring local and US-based universities and colleges. Guidance counselor at the Elmo Stout High School, Sylvester Smith, says this year's event was encouraging as they begin to assess plans for next year.
Really encouraging to see all the schools here and really looking around and thinking of what can we do different next year and moving forward. But this year we decided to have it here at this venue, and it's proven to be very productive this year. When you look around with all the colleges that were here, a lot of the students went and took the time to hear what they had to say, and many of the students took the time also to take the applications and sit down and fill them out. So it'll give the students an opportunity to really start thinking about where they want to be in the next couple of years and how they can be successful.
Florence Phillips, Senior Administrative Officer in Registry and Enrollment Management at HLSCC, said they received many surprises and heard some unusual selections during the college fair.
The students came out in large numbers from the various schools. We actually were surprised at some of the program interests.
Give us an idea of some of these surprises. What were they looking for, the students?
Well, there are unusual professions such as real estate agent programs. We also had computer engineering. Those are areas that we may have to look at. And of course, there was the excitement of the culinary arts, which took a start off last semester. Actually, we found too there are females interested in automotive technology program because we're now finding that a lot of the females are engaged in the architectural engineering program. So there are some surprises here and there, but overall it was very overwhelming for us.
Carla Brown, Program Officer at UWI Open Campus BVI, said medicine, law and engineering were among the careers of interest to the students.
And we're very pleased to report that the students came well prepared. They came with all of their ideas and their thoughts and their questions already formulated. Most of them had a very clear idea as to what it is that they wanted to do after they left school. So that was really a breath of fresh air this time.
JTV News also spoke to some of the students during the college fair about the careers they plan to pursue. Which profession you really have in mind?
Accounting. All of the college that came, they talked about accounting.
Mechanic engineering.
And from the college fair today, you had an opportunity to get a sense of what you can do?
Yeah, well, I got an opportunity to acknowledge that the UWI, they have a pretty good standard of learning there, and the cost is very affordable.
Business administration.
How did the college fair help you make up your mind today?
It allowed me to see all the colleges that have courses in business administration.
And which one you have in mind? Which college?
University of the West Indies.
I make up my mind I got 2 career plans.
And what are they?
Like computer engineering, software analyzing, and mechanical engineering.
Did the college fair help you in any way to make up your mind?
Well, they kind of set me on a path of choosing school after high school.
The annual Career Expo started with a career day at the then BVI High School, now the Elmo Stout High School. The event targets graduating students to help prepare them for the working world. The event also gives the public and private sector organizations an opportunity to showcase their career opportunities in the various fields. Sean Rose, JTV News.
Effective March 11, 2013, 8 businesses in the territory will introduce a no plastic bag initiative that seeks to reduce the amount of plastic waste in the territory. Dalen Vanderpool and Sophia Bain, co-founders of World House Caribbean, along with Green VI, the Department of Conservation and Fisheries, and the BVI Tours Board, have partnered to launch the program. Dalen Vanderpool told JTV News that plans to discontinue the use of plastic bags in the BVI have been on stream for over a year. and has received overwhelming support from various establishments as part of a collaborative approach to reduce the use of plastic bags across the territory.
You put it out there, we throw it away one time, whether it's plastic bottles, plastic bags, or whatever it is, but it stays in the environment and damages the place for a very long time. So we've been working with a number of different organizations and retailers and people in the BVI for the past year on working towards getting rid of plastic grocery bags in the supermarkets.
Several businesses have signed a memorandum of understanding that would in effect require shoppers to pay 15 cents for every plastic bag they use. This measure is seen as a deterrent to using plastic bags and encourage everyone to take along reusable bags when shopping.
15 cents is actually ridiculously low. Based on our research, there's some countries that charge 50 cents, some even more than that. So 15 cents for a plastic bag is actually quite nominal. But I try to tell people the point is this. It's not whether or not the plastic bag costs 15 cents or $1 million. The point is, do yourself a favor, save the environment, be a friend of the BVI, and just bring your own reusable bag. Because if you bring your own reusable bag, it doesn't matter what the bag costs. It's all about saving the environment and doing something great for your kids in the future of the BVI.
Dylan Vanderpool, an accountant by profession, said the measure not only saves the environment, but also money.
It's interesting that we actually have to go back to how things were done before. As you know, I'm involved very intimately with One Mart supermarket, and it's interesting when people come in, you see older folks say, oh, this is nothing new. This is where we used to do it all the time anyway. We're not used to having a plastic bag. I'm used to either taking things in my hand or I'll just bring my own bag. So practical terms, what would happen is this. You go into the supermarket, if you have your reusable bags, as you reach to the checkout counter, you just hand them your bags and they'll pack them in the reusable bags for you, and you take your stuff to your car. The important thing is to remember your bags, right? Don't forget them at home. Don't leave them in the car. You'll see signs posted everywhere saying, you know, do you have your bags? Do you have your bags? Do you have your bags? So make sure you have your bags.
The participating businesses are One Mart Supermarket, Bobby's Marketplace, Super Value, Road Town Wholesale, Quomar Trading Limited, Bucks Wholesale, and Rosie's Enterprises. Plastic bags are not biodegradable. They clog waterways, spoil the landscape, and end up in landfills where they take 1,000 years or more to break down into smaller particles that continue to pollute the soil and water. Plastic bags also pose a serious danger to birds and marine mammals that often mistake them for food. Thousands die each year after swallowing or choking on discarded plastic bags. There is no flu virus vaccine available in the territory for persons who may need it. Dr. Hesketh Vanderpool at Eureka Medical Clinic told JTV News that the high incidence of flu outbreak in the U.S. this year have consumed the already limited amount of vaccine produced on a global level.
And unfortunately this year, with the increase in flu, most of the vaccines, in fact all of the vaccines have been used up, and we in the BVI and the Caribbean do not have any more flu vaccines available. In fact, so we are not going to get any more flu shots available until next flu season, unfortunately. So
what do we do in the meantime?
We just battle through and do as we did years ago before we had the vaccine available. We drink our fluids and take our medication to treat the pains and the fever and hope for the best.
The flu virus knows no boundaries and spreads easily when people travel to other countries. The medical practitioner said there has been an increase in influenza cases here in the BVI this year.
This year, the influenza infections have been particularly high in certain parts of the United States. And you know, when people in the United States get influenza, and with the tourist industry, we will also get it too, because influenza knows no boundaries. As people pass from one country to another, the virus will spread just as the traffic will. So we have also seen a significant increase in the number of people with influenza. Now, many times we say somebody has the flu, it's just a virus. It's not necessarily the true influenza virus. But this year, we are really seeing the true influenza viruses that are causing pretty bad respiratory symptoms. Typical, it starts with body aches, general body aches, a fever, runny nose, then cough, Some people get gastrointestinal symptoms like vomiting and loose stool or diarrhea.
But what really causes the flu virus, and who are most vulnerable?
Quite a few variations of the influenza virus, but the common ones is influenza A and B that we see that is actually circulating in the communities more or less all of the time, but at certain times of the year, particularly somewhere from around November until about March, we tend to see an increase in the frequency at which we see people with influenza.
When asked about some preventative measures persons can take to contain the spread of the virus, Dr. Vantaboo suggested that in light of the non-availability of the flu vaccine, if you have the flu, the best option is to stay isolated.
If possible, the best thing is to, if you have the flu, stay home. Stay home, keep yourself well hydrated, drink lots of fluids, drink some nice warm soups, take some paracetamol as well as some of the cough remedies for the flu. Give it some time, let it settle. Unfortunately, most people may not be that sick, so they want to go to work or they want to go about their normal businesses. And that they tend to come in contact with people and spread the flu around. When you cough or when you sneeze, try to cover your mouth, try to cover your nose. The typical thing is to cover with your hands, but nowadays, cover with your elbow or something, or your clothing, because the next thing is that you're going to shake somebody's hand and you pass it on, and that person can get the flu by shaking someone's hand who has just sneezed into the hand, for instance. School children tend to spread it around because they're crowded together in school. So if children have the flu, it's best for them to stay home from school and not spread it to the other kids around. Sometimes the children bring the flu from school home to their parents, and so parents may end up getting the flu as a result.
Influenza officially reached epidemic proportions in the United States early January, with 7.3% of deaths caused by pneumonia and the flu, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The early start and fast spread of the 2013 flu season overwhelmed doctors' offices and hospitals, forcing some patients to wait through the night to be seen in emergency departments. Tens of thousands of Americans die every year from the flu, even in non-epidemic years. And the kata players and friends from the BVI dance school, as well as the general public, joined in the global movement 1 Billion Rising on February 14th, Valentine's Day, to end the violence against women and girls. The largest day of action in the 15-year history of the movement, dubbed V-Day 1 Billion Rising, began as a call to action by Eve Ensler, V-Day founder, based on the staggering statistic that 1 in 3 women on the planet will be beaten or raped during her lifetime. With the world population at 7 billion, this adds up to more than 1 billion women and girls. On February 14, 2013, the kata players and friends hosted a Valentine's Day flash mob at Rightway's Passe store in solidarity with activists, writers, thinkers, and celebrities to express outrage, demand change in defiance of the injustice women suffer, using the joy of movement to say no to violence against women and girls.
It's 1 billion women and the men who support them all around the world rising up in a radical love movement to put an end to violence against women and girls. In the world right now, 1 in 3 women are either raped or beaten. 1 billion women violated is an atrocity. 1 billion women dancing is a revolution. Anytime you stop violence against women, you help everyone. Women are half the population of the earth. We are the source of everything living. And yet we are marginalized, we are reduced, we are made to be afraid in many, many places. And the BVI, a study done not too long ago through Family Support Network, says that 1 in 4 BVI women will be victims of violence. So if we can end violence, we not only help the territory, we help the world.
This event will be posted on both the 1 Billion Rising website and JTV's website, jtvlive.net. to mark the BVI's participation in a global partnership of 200 nations around the world where similar risings are being held. And coming up next in this week's Medical Edge Health Report, imagine if you can type on a computer screen just by thinking of the letters. Stay tuned for Dr. Geronimo Jones' report on typing with brainwaves.